So after a little pause, that's how it always goes. I came to realize what actually that code in the mouse handler was actually doing, and I didn't notice it. But it was simply, yeah, I was confused about why is it joined in one. But what the code I was doing simply had that was that it for the mouse clicked and the mouse moved event, it simply returned the x and y coordinates. That's all. And that was what was being done in this method. And I was just being silly I was just using in my method to return something on click. I was using the click point, for the other the cursor point. But the way the code was set up, it was never meant to be different. Yeah, it was probably located somewhere else before, etc., etc. It was, but yeah, it just gives a cursor point is in fact just the mouse pointer coordinates. And what I'm doing doesn't have anything to do with a click or a cursor. Those are just the events. But for both events, I just wanted to return the mouse coordinates at that moment, and that was what it's doing. And then it was passing it here to just a little local variable of x and y, which then was used in the message here. And I didn't notice it. Where is it? Oh yeah, that is in the label. It just just takes the click point or the cursor point. So I probably was confused because it's double here. Okay, yeah, I returned them, so they get. But oh, those are also just methods. I don't know if I created them. There's also a click point, but that's really setting a point when you click. I used it in other methods, but now I don't need it anymore because I'm doing it all in a class where I have direct access to the mouse events. But yeah, both of these mouse events were just returning the coordinates. If I would have just used the cursor, but only value was only assigned to cursor point. If cursor point was used for both the click point, the click event, there's a mouse event, mouse clicked, and mouse event, mouse moved. They were both just using the cursor point to return that thing. Cursor point would just translate to the mouse point coordinates or something like that. And if I would have just used cursor point in my click select tile method, it would just have worked. And now by switching this thing off, I don't get a value to x anymore. But yeah, having said that, it's kind of useless because it just assigns the getX and getY methods, which are inherent to the mouse event class. It just assigns them to X. So now that I have I have direct access here, I can just say here get X and get Y. I don't need that whole thing. In fact, it's completely rudimentary. Except when you want to avoid typing this stuff out, or like I said, it was used before. It was used in a different way. It was all being used in DrawCanvas. Let's use Y. No, get X, get Y. I'm mixing things up. Get X, get Y. Yeah, it was always being used in DrawCanvas in nested classes, etc. So yeah, that's about it. And click point is point, so I mustn't confuse that when I use point that it is a click point specifically. So, but now this means, yeah. And ChatGPT wasn't able to to tell me what's wrong. Apparently, it didn't see or didn't understand that I used in this select tile method. I used the click point, and that click point wasn't having getting anything assigned to it. So, and I didn't even notice that the coordinates were gone when I clicked. So normally that should return the coordinates now. Oh wait, no, that's in the. I'm looking in the wrong place. That is in the cursor is at up here in the label. The last click was at. Okay, and now it has a 0.0 probably we did something in that method. The integer, new point. No, probably did that as well before. So yeah, that's a little break gave me the insight in what it was actually doing. And why doesn't it print to console? Culture plus add culture tile get row. Because I don't tell it to print it to console. No, the label is doing it right now, isn't it? I don't have anything when I mouse over, that's good. When I do a click, it only returns the select tile method. It doesn't. Let me see, I'm confused. Before it did print the coordinates to the console. Oh, by the way, do I still have my? Oh yeah, I didn't even check. I still have my head in the lower right side, which is good. Okay, what was I doing? I know it doesn't return the coordinates in the console at all. So then that might, okay, that was then probably due to, oh no, of course, that was just this line of code here. I don't even, that cursor point is null new point. I don't think that is necessary. That is also maybe just some safeguard. That's for the label. I can just do that directly in here, I guess. Oh, that's another reason to use that helper class, so you don't have to put in this output twice. So it was just a little consolidation of. So okay, does that? Yeah. Now, yeah, that was just it. Okay, so it was just that little line of print when I move it, when I put it in here as well. It's handy to have it work. Yeah, now it does both again. Yeah. So I kind of get it now. It's great. Can switch those two off, but they're pretty handy to check things out. So I don't need that whole if cursor not is null new point stuff. I won't throw it away right away, but okay. Cool. That's nice. I kind of get it now. So now that's settled. Now I have a few things to do to arrive at the point where I, how do you say it? Where I got stuck. I got stuck in the chapter in the point on my little list of things to do. That was placing the first unit, and then I ran into all this trouble of my lack of architecture. So now that I have all this working, I need to go to the piece class. Oh yeah, I have to go into my piece class and change that up. That reminded me I'm making a little new list of all the things I have to do, because since I'm recording this whole stuff, I've written pages of what if that and sys and all those things are mostly being most of them I've addressed during this footage, but some stuff stays and like the next steps. And one of that was to fix the piece class, which brings me to the class hierarchy of that. I did some I did a lot of cleaning up in the tile hierarchy stuff, and I have something similar. I think I already I'm sure I already talked about it. I don't only think it. Here in this here piece on the left, that is the superclass of all the things that I can put on the board, on the tiles. That was my logic, but I already decided that I will try to do the same as with the tiles, or a similar thing, and that is to take out the abstract superclass of piece, which is a subclass of board shapes, etc., the whole shebang, and then keep the building, the road, and the unit. Those are the subclasses of piece. And I might as well probably do a similar thing as I did with the terrains. Go there to show where I simplified it, thanks to Robert Nystrom, his book, into a class that creates those instances of itself with no, that's not the right way of saying it, but you know what I mean, with this simple initialization thing. Because as how I can see it now, those are very small classes, except I have put all these booleans in here that I talked about before as well, that represent some kind of that I've tried to represent some kind of what is it called, dependency tree logic, but I'm pretty sure that it's not the way to do it. And if it is the way to do it, I probably won't do it inside those objects. I'm not sure how to do that, but I'm sure I will find out a nice elegant way of doing that, better than this, because then I had to repeat all those things inside, and like is building level 1, no. That already that can be done with else if statements, and simplified very much. And I also need to know on which tile they are allowed, but most of those buildings are allowed on any tile where a village is allowed, the first stage in building stuff. So then, yeah, I don't have to check for anything else, just if there is a village, stuff like that. It should be simple, and I don't know in what kind of data structure that would best fit. But like what I have now is very similar to the tiles. I have just a few variables, and also text is shaped. Not the images yet, but that will be similar to the tiles, and it will be great also to just load those images once and then reuse them. And they also get a shape which will be the same or similar for at least every level. Then I have other, the shape is just the outline, the size, etc. In there will be an image, and that will probably be similar to the resource buildings that can be placed outside the village, but on a resource tile. They might have the same shape as the same size as the buildings. Not sure yet. Ideally, I want to go to a system where I can kind of put them into a village as building blocks, which will be way more complex. But I can probably do some tricky pokery with that. It would be great if I can just construct a village, and then every village can have maximum 2 buildings in there, one of level 1 and one of level 2, and that's it. So it would be great if I can come up with some kind of a design where you create a village, and then next stage it kind of gets upgraded, but I have like two upgrade spots in every level. Maybe even have a whole new design for the village for the second level, so that the village design changes with it, but that I can replace the building that is there that has the update with one of the 4 possible buildings, without having to design all the possible combinations. Of course, those aren't that many, but when you have one village with each 4 different level 1 expansions and then 4 level 2 expansions, that will be like 4 times 4. I think it's pretty straightforward, like 16 different combinations, which isn't too bad because I want to keep everything simple. But that's not the goal is not to redesign that. I think you know what I'm getting at. And the same might be true for units. There are probably more differences in there, but maybe also those differences can be handled outside the actual unit object, or in the same way like I construct tiles with that terrain, have some properties that I can take out, and others that I put in a specific thing. But for now, the building class is super simple, and the unit class, is pretty similar as well in things like. But for example, a hunter, a unit that can fight, has another has some other parameters than a worker, but then I can just set, for instance, attack, I can just set it to 0, defense maybe to 0 or 1. So they can use the similar things. They will mostly be different in possibilities they have, especially Hunter and the other culture units. So I can see about that, but I might even get to a situation where I want. Why do they have building? Yeah. Oh yeah, I took my logic so far that I had abstract methods in piece, and that in piece they have, if it's a building level, etc. No, if it's not a building, then it would be not be a building level something. Yeah, I did that very simply. But I might even get to a situation where I just have like one class for every unit without giving them a class that unifies them. That has to be seen. Besides, yeah, then with Hunter, I will have upgrades to it. So that is already a whole different thing. The other ones, I don't think so. They will just have maybe upgrades in like bonuses. So that won't change the structure of it. The Hunter will have upgrades that change the image as well. And for the rest, it's just more of their what is it called, attributes that change, their values that change mostly. So anyway, enough talk. Let's do something. Yes, because before I can where I was stuck was creating, and so I have to visit the game loop as well. That's what the steps I have now. I have to look into the pieces so that it breaks, and then I have to look in the game loop where I was trying to select the tile, put it in a unit array on the tile, which I'm going to create separately now, the unit array, or create a list of a unit that is available and just spawning an available hunter to do something with, which is placed, and selecting a tile to place it on, and then that the tile gets the unit assigned to it. And of course, then the whole process of drawing it, etc. And then next step is to be able to move that one unit, because instead of going for buildings or other things first, because that implies that I need to implement neighbor logic and stuff so that it can move to another tile, and the whole selecting it and giving it a movement, that will be very basic functionality that I need everywhere. That's before I start to play around with buildings and other stuff. When I have that in place, I will have a huge chunk of my game functionality, the whole neighboring thing. That will be a big headache because of how my board is constructed. Not only that those are not uniform, those are not uniform tiles, but also that I'm adamant about that is some hang up of mine. I can't get around it. That from that I want on the corridor, I want roads to pass from one culture to the other, but that implies, that's why I have those corridor zones, that when a unit is on there, it can only move to either side. It cannot move to other things that the corridor is neighboring. It cannot move to the third tile that it's neighboring. So stuff like that. I need to find smart things to do that. It's very atypical what I'm trying to do. So calculating neighbors in that will be a nice challenge. By the way, I'm going to turn off when it's mouse move printing stuff. Where was the mouse moved? Because that's annoying. Mouse highlights. Yes. You go away. I don't want you. So I think I'll just try to restructure this class hierarchy first thing. The question is, where do I want to initialize them? Like I do here, I initialize them on board, but I need them to construct a board. What would be a logical place to do that? I don't need to create all the units in one go. I only need to instantiate them when I'm used, but that doesn't mean I cannot like create them and then use them later. But No, that would be some kind of a copy then, because every unit will have, like the tiles in the array, they will have unique properties, and they will be multiple, and then some will get a bonus, for example, when others don't, because I have some complex logic in my head related to the connection of tiles and etc. I'm going for something that is about interconnectedness. So if stuff is connected, it gets a bonus. When it's not, it doesn't. So I need to have individual units that can take different values in like here when they are initiated, that can either change those values or get initialized with different values. I think change the values, they get base values and then they get changed. But I do need unique instances of all those units in every place in every tile. Of course, what I can do is like what I did with the tiles here, that I at least try to make the images only load once. It's kind of, for like I said, for my game, it will be it's kind of over engineered, but I like the idea. I think it's fun, and it never hurts to do a bit for the performance as far and practice, see how that all works. And it's conceptually not that hard. I can have similar things that, like in tile has some functionalities, and then it diverges just the filter and the corridor tile, which now I don't need to do. But I can have something like here, terrain is like a bit mostly the appearance of the tiles, and maybe later on I add more stuff, I'm not sure. And I included a defense bonus that will be constant probably. If there's something that adds to the defense, there will be a formula that takes the base defense bonus from the terrain and take the other thing that gives extra defense, and then create a total value, so it doesn't have to change. For example, if something similar can be set for units, then the hunter is not the best example because it can change. It can change its stuff. So I will in fact have different versions of the hunter. So, oh, but Robert Nystrom has some fine examples of that kind of stuff in his book, like the monster spawn thing. How we can do that in a nice way, in an elegant way, and it goes way too far. But I can at least take the basics, because every time he takes a design pattern and then like how it's used normally, and then he adds his little sauce of how it can be used even smarter. I like that. But so I could use something like that to spawn my different hunter types from one basic class. So yeah, this like I'm explaining this to myself, it gets kind of complicated rather quickly. The maximum per tile of things that could change as well due to bonuses. But then again, it could be the same. I could have base values, and bonuses just don't change that value, but add to those values, or subtract, or whatever. Yeah, I think the only class that I'm gonna get rid of is the piece class, and then I don't see a way, like I said, to preload the different terrain, except that in a sense the different these terrain things only do the graphical and load one variable. I can do that for units and just find a name for that, like appearance, unit appearance. What is it? Unit graphic, unit. Yeah, you have a unit, and then the units have a model. I think he uses that as well in his book contents for that whole thing was the Flyweight where he does that. For his tree story, there's a like here the trees have kind of all kinds of variables, and then we split them out. That all trees have in common, calls it tree model, and then the specific tree. I can just I only use the basic principle of it always, where he explains how you can do things very smart and very beautiful. But I'm already very thankful that I get the basic ideas a bit, and the smart solutions can always come later. But that's mostly way over engineered. But it's fun anyways. So let's try to advance it and not take days and days. Oh yeah, and something like a name, for example. No, yeah, the name isn't in the model. That's the unique thing. But unit and the class, that would be a class like terrain. Yeah, I think I will be very creative and just call it UnitModel. And now to package default. Yeah, wait, I didn't. I created some unit model. I created something outside of my package. A few times it's happened. I don't know why. Modifiers, public package. Is that it? Public class unit model. No idea what that was about then. Yeah, then I do this. I can do the new. I was thinking I cannot do the new. Yes, I can do the new. I can instantiate the models, and that will happen if the class unit is instantiate. In the class unit, I will put all the models and instantiate the models. And then, as to do, this will start with a string of unit name. Let's construct it, string unit name. Let's try and construct this like so. Let's do the getter as well. Public, yeah, that's in here, yeah. Public string, get unit name. And return unit name, like so. Next up, I can take a peek in terrain, texture file name. I can do that in unit model. Let's vary the base. Yeah, that's only getting instantiated a few things. I did do a lot of things in tau in the end, right? Oh, no, just that, and that. So unit will get a value of unit model right away. Tau, I was looking at tau values, string tau type. I don't need that because I do need unit type or something. No, I'm just going to use very basic stuff here. So unit, oh, I saw something in terrain that I wanted to take out. The image, of course, I'm going to take that, copy. Let's put that here, terrain, and take the same two methods from here. They will be exactly the same, I think, like so. By the way, I'm going to change those texture files to PNG, I think. And then I want to have base movement, stuff like that. I want to have that in there as well, which are private, of course. Now I know. It's just a few days ago, literally, or maybe a week ago, I didn't know how that worked, all that stuff. The private, public, etc. So I need to write a getter for all that stuff. Base defense. I think I can take out the word value just to make it shorter. I think that doesn't change anything to the defense. Defense with a zero as defense. Public int get return base defense. I'm gonna look it up. Yeah, it's with a C. In French, it's with an S defense. But when I wrote this, I was living in France already. So who knows? Block public. Oh, I did it with a capital. That's why it isn't happy. Let's copy paste to save me a little bit of typing at least. Get base attack base, and I'll keep the word base in there, like I said, because it can have bonuses and all kinds of stuff. Like total, we'll have the movement. It doesn't save me a lot of writing, but that's a bit. So then all these go into here. Copy. And I don't even have images for them. I have this one image that I showed in one of my videos for the hunter, and that's it. Yeah, I did that, I have some sketches and stuff from way back, but oh yeah, and then of course to tell it in the constructor all that goodness. This first time it crashes. Oh, wait, second time it works. I have no idea. Unit name. I'm too lazy and I have other things to do to find out why that is. Why is that there? This. How do I do it with the texture? Yeah, that's the same way. Oh, I can copy it. Saves me. Oh, do that again. Sticky. Sometimes it has weird responses to the mouse, I find. Eclipse ID. This base defense. Okay, thank you. Is base defense with a C, apparently. This base attack. This base attack. This base movement. Thank you very much. This base movement. Like so. Beautiful. And okay, there's the shape, of course. How did I do it in tau in the end? Yeah, it just needs to return a tau, and the texture square is also for the units because that is some kind of an anchor. So that's not in unit, that is in. Oh, yeah, this is in unit. Wait. Tau shape. Get tau shape. Okay, I put it here. Yeah, when I do that in unit, it will load all kinds of different tiles. If I have different shapes, then I have to do all kinds of. I cannot do it on. So, but I can throw that on the model level. Yeah, that's way more logic here to put it on the model level, because then I can give them individual, I need and have to give them individual shapes. But let me see, it's just how many units, huh? I just got 5, but for now, 2 of them have a bigger size. And yeah, no, and when I want to change it, I think this is great on not with the tile shapes, they won't mutate, or they won't change. But this is very probable to have very much adapted shapes. Now I had to just do a big and a small unit shape. It's just for trying stuff out. So I throw them below the image, because that's kind of private shape, texture square. I need to, yeah, I need to pass them in manually. What is more, the unit name isn't logical to be the first. Texture file name, have the defense values, etc. behind. I can always change it. Let's do it in order of the shape. So it will have a. I'm thinking, do I need? That's just a shape, isn't it? Let me take a peek. Yeah, it needs to return a shape, not the game shape or anything. Oh yeah, then I do new game shape and it returns a shape. Yeah. Yes. I was in the model. I'm all over again. And let's put unit next to this. So shape, unit, shape, and rectangle 2D, texture square. I keep that generic name. That's the word. Rectangle 2D. Well, I click here and it sometimes it gets on my nerves. So this unit shape. Oh, it doesn't find it yet. Oh, also yeah. Oh, shape tile shape. Oh, that's why it can't find it. Unit shape. Probably not. Can it now find it? Yeah. Right. Pretty smart that it didn't find it sometimes. Up. No, the unit shape is not unit shape. This unit shape. Oh wait. Oh no. Yeah, I'm being silly. I cannot. No, I don't. I can't do it here because it's not. It's not the same. So this is for the stuff that is common. I can give it a unit shape, but no, I need to do it like here, like I do it on board. Where's my board? Here, tack. Then when I instantiate the new unit, that takes, like here, a terrain that takes a unit model, which has this thing, but I do need to tell it, like on tile, that for that unit, yeah, like I did it at some point, I did it here. I told it in line here in the parameters what shape was with it. So here with I do want a generic shape like so, but when I instantiate the unit, I want to type in manually, how do you say it, give it the correct shape, to pass it the correct shape. So this shape is shape I don't need oh no, it's unit shape, and it's shape before the texture. Let's do that like so. And then yeah, in unit I want this goes out, get piece name, texture square, this whole shebang of things can go out. I can of course return all those things with the getters, but no need that is here. So there was really nothing interesting in that class. So what I want to do is in the constructor here, well, this can go away as well. In the constructor here, I want to have a private UnitModel instance of UnitModel, like so. And then I don't even want if, else, or whatever. Oh yeah, I can do that with an if, else. And because I don't need, like on the board, I don't need them all to be instantiated. Yeah, but then, okay, this is kind of hurting my brain. But then that won't serve any purpose if then it will just for every unit, if I do an else if, it will just load it for every thing, if I do a conditional thing. But when for every case, if I do UnitModel, oh, that needs to be then a case tab. No, like I do it on board. Yeah, that's in the constructor. Poof, they're there, like so. But then again, I use them to initialize the error. I need to have some kind of a toolbox where I load the. Would I then also No, they're not. That's not logical to put them on the board. Every unit that created gets put in a unit array. I think I need to do construction because even before placing it on the board, it is in an available unit array. Then when it's placed, it's in a unit array where they take some array coordinates. And couldn't they just be in an array where like it already ChatGPT proposed to have it to make it have a boolean if it is placed? But I think that would be complicated because I don't think you can put those things in an array and have them have different parameters. When they're not placed, they don't have array coordinates. When they're placed, they do. When they're placed on a corridor, I need some info about where they are on the corridor. So I think they need to be moved from one array to another. But then, yeah, an array wouldn't be a logical place to have them. Let's think about this a bit without recording all my heavy thoughts. Yeah, if I want to use something similar as with the terrains, it would be, yeah, I need some kind of place to store them, like on the board. But like I said, they don't. That's kind of weird. The board doesn't get initialized with units. But then again, my board is kind of the world. As long as I don't have something that I want to have, like an empire class or anything, I don't really have another logical place to put them. But yeah, you need an object of them. Even, for instance, if you have like some menu somewhere with a list of things you could potentially create, they are not created in the beginning of the game, but just imagine you have like an oversight of something, then I need instances of those units as well. But I need a class that a class that gets instantiated, and that instance is what is it called? Constant, permanent. It stays there. That's kind of like a place to. That's like a place to let them live, and it's kind of far-fetched to put them on the board. But then again, I constructed tiles there now, and finally, to get them drawn, I'm just thinking out loud as usual. To get them drawn, the render case looks too bored, and to interact with it, I look too bored. So I could just say again that I create the Lego pieces here in the board, and they are available. But then again, it's a bit weird to go through the board to create. Oh, by the way, I could have like a spawn unit method then here. Like I have a spawn board method. And like when I consider my board to be the world, the game world, that's pretty synchronous with the examples of Nystrom in his book here, where he stores them in world. Like I said, if I don't have like a place, but everything lives on my board, that's my game world. So it would be kind of logical to have the pieces there available as well. And then this is where all the interaction happens, and which is the representation of my game world. So there is where I want to have the visual representation of my units as well. So yeah, that's not so far-fetched after all, because it's not logical to do that in, like I was going to do this, all the different possibilities and instantiate them on unit. But that's weird, because there's a new unit is called, and when I instantiate every time one of the unit models, it's called through the unit, in fact. And I really do wondering whether I need this in between unit model and unit. I might be just being ridiculous. What's the difference between unit and unit model? Because in the example, the trees, for example, they have a place in the world. What did he have? As far as I see it now, my units won't have knowledge of their place in the world. That will depend on where they are, because the only thing that matters is where the tiles they are on are in the world, or where they can move to, etc., and they will be confronted with units that are contained on that object virtually, because they will live in a list that has reference to that object, Let me see an example for clarification. So yeah, the common things, and then position, yeah, the height, etc. Those are like mine are the unit types, for example. They're all a unit, but they're different units. So all the rest is specific unit properties. Oh yeah, the question is actually, do they have things in common? No, I'm messing with my head. This isn't really applicable for what I'm doing, is it? I don't think I need UnitModel at all, in fact. I just need unit. I think I'm just being a dork. It's just unit. Yeah, no, I'm really messing things up in my head. I need the stuff that I cannot just instantiate only a couple of units. It needs to be a model. But besides the texture, yeah, that's what I'm no, I'm not. I want to load all that stuff, and then when I instantiate a new unit, I don't want to reload all that stuff. That's why I'm doing that. So no, it is true. So I'm going to board and just do the crazy thing. Terrain tile, those are very happy. Then I have a unit model of unit model. No, I'm bullshitting. I have unit model hunter, without a capital, soldier, worker, an army, and what I had in there, not sure. But why not? And I cannot help myself but putting capitals. Then something like this will be happening. New unit model, like so, with a space there. And it will be a hunter. And then I need to look at the model. Let's copy this so that I don't have to look all the time. Unit model, like so. And then I would instantiate the whole shebang. Texture file name would be is that one exists. Hunter JPEG. Texture shape. Shape would be new game shape. Can I do this here? I think I could, no problem. Game shape. Why doesn't it do? Because I don't write an H point. This was small t's now. Why doesn't it? Okay, it's not shape. And the rectangle texture square. Good question. Do I have anything for the units? I should have. Texture square, corridor, texture square, culture. Oh, I can probably use the same for that. It's a rectangle 2D. I don't remember exactly where that whole rectangle stuff was situated for the other ones and what's the difference with the pieces. For now, I can probably just use the same for now, see what it does, because it's just a little rectangle anyway. And what else do we need? The defense, hunter, let's say it has 1. Attack, let's say it has 1. And movement, let's say it has 2. The constructor. Okay, I did give the game shape the. Ah, yeah, that's funny. I gave them the row column argument, which isn't applicable for the units. So there I run into my next problem, which means, and I think that is pretty cool that it does that now, but that means I need to separate this out in tile shapes and unit shapes while keeping those basic measurements, but all of this is in fact to create tiles. Because like I said before, instead of defining the things for the units like I have now, I need to make them relative to the tile shapes, totally relative to that. I don't want to have rows and columns everything, so probably I need another class right again, which is called logical will be called P shape. Let's just call it P shapes for now. I'll see if I need to distinguish between units, buildings, etc. But they're all related to that. So P shape logically gets an instance of GameShape, I suppose. GameShape, which then I would probably need to rename to board shape again. Or again, it wasn't called that because that would be logical. Can I redo that whole thing? Maybe I should do that in the right order. Let's save it, because otherwise I probably won't find all the references. GameShape, where are you? Here. Refactor that thing. Rename. That will be board shape. Finish. Road market has compile errors. That's very okay. That is board shape. How do I make sure that it gets the right instance? Probably in main, I guess. Where do I game board? Oh, I stopped instantiating GameShape. So where does it get instantiated? There's probably all kinds of funny functionalities in Eclipse to find out where you instantiate something like that. Who gets an instance of GameShape? Nobody. I just do new GameShape and then do transform. That means that every instance of GameShape I do, that's the transform. Does it even matter effectively now that I have it like this? I guess it doesn't. Just try it like I get it. This GameShape. This GameShape. Maybe it doesn't matter at all. It's called board shape now, friend. Board. Right. And I love how I'm trying to do a thing and then I find out a thing. I need to change the thing. It's endless. I think I've recorded about like 12 hours since I started applying what I learned and reshuffling my entire code. I was looking for board shape. Texture square, that small piece. The only thing I have for pieces is did. Oh yeah, and something rolled west I was trying to create, this stuff. Just copy it, it's useless, but as an example, let's take the small piece that is using xloop, etc. What I want, of course, now is things I do have in board shape. Those are like this: corridor shape, get bound, get center, etc. What do I want? I want to. It's actually pretty easy. I don't know. Yeah, like I said, I don't know what xloop radius. I'm not sure what the texture squares are doing. Xloop minus texture square corridor. Xloop. Oh, this minus radius. Xloop minus 30. Radius is 40. Where was it? Yeah. And then 83 times 100 separate by 35. Oh, the other one is more simple. Yeah, this is relative to the x and y, of course. So it somehow draws a little square around, I think, around the center of the tile. So that's kind of, why don't I do it with culture shape get bounds? This whole thing, I'm not sure. It needs x, y, w. It needs 4 points to just make it a square. In fact, that's what it's doing. Something like, oh, that's width and height, isn't it? I don't remember. Let me see. By location, oh yeah, location and dimensions. So x and y are where it starts, and then it gets a dimension. And 83 and 80, where does that? 83 and 80. 2 times 80 is 160. Well, somewhere I'll run into that and find out what it meant again. 2020. Okay, this is the same format. Starts XX and then 10 by 20. That's the thing. 40 by 40. But why does it start on X loop? Because X looped is the X, just the X and Y point, is the lower left of the hexagon. So why? Oh, because the lower left of the hexagon is also where I draw the. Okay, now it gets clearer. It's also where I draw. That's also where the center of the circle tile is, the lower left of the hexagon. So that is why I start in that center, and then so I found the starting point to draw. So it's drawn from the center effectively. So it's kind of the center of the square isn't in the center. It's kind of off center. But then, yeah, that is way too complicated, especially because it's not relative to the tiles. What I now need is not this crap. Give me shape, text point. I had that somewhere. Center point culture here. Text point culture. Why do I then good? Return center point culture. I need that one. And where do I define center point culture? Somewhere. Center point hexagon. That is something different than center point culture, of course. Where do I center point culture? It exists somewhere. It's a method. Oh, here. Point to the center point culture. Yeah, there's my point. That is kind of what I need, but it doesn't need. I want to have something that doesn't return a method. I want to return a point. Oh, it does, of course. Oh, I can use that method instead of a point, but then that needs x and y. Yeah, point automatically has an x and a y coordinate, doesn't it? Yeah. So I'm not sure how I can use that, but I will. Because when I have a point to D, I can extract the x and the y again, like I do here. Oh, I do the same here. I just have added an extra step here. I did try to do things with that. So I will have to call those methods. I think I will work off that center point for now. Class board shape, point to the center point hexagon. Let's call it core and cult instead of the hexagon stuff to simplify my life later on or confuse me. Center point. Oh, let's do. What's better to put the difference in front of behind? Not sure. No, I don't need a method to return this board shape. The assignment to variable board shape has no effect. GameShape, okay, because I didn't call it right. That's why. So what I want now is way more easy than I think. Do I want to do that in a constructor? I'm not sure. Public. Yeah, just point to the. Let's take out the point. It's pretty obvious. Get cult center. Oh, center. Like so, and then return center cult is new. I'm using the instance. Not sure why I'm using the instance, in fact. I was thinking I need an instance here, but do I? Do I need the instance? I can just instantiate new, like I do in the other classes. This new board shape. Well, let's take center point culture here. Copy. Need a capital here. Oh shit! Yeah, then I need I needed a W and a H. How do I get around that? What if I pass P shape when I instantiate it from here? New piece shape with this. What if I pass it an instance of itself? Then I can avoid to that it can have an instance. And again, addend means every time I create an instance of board shape, it creates a new P shape. That's weird. That's very weird. That is very, very strange to do so. Let me think. Of course, they need to have the transformed stuff. Yeah, this model also makes, like with the mouse handler, makes an instance of mouse handler available to the DrawCanvas while creating an instance of it with its instance. So it kind of couples them. Do I have any use to have an instance of Base shape in the board shapes? So it kind of makes a coupling. But the DrawCanvas in the mouse input handler are instantiated once. For the board shape, I instantiated many times. Is there another way to just give it access to an instance of board shape or to its methods or whatever without being So after a few hours of pause, I turned it over in my head in all kinds of ways, and I returned did a bit of back and forth with ChatGPT, which helps a bit in my thinking. But then I tried to get confirmation if it wasn't logical to separate these measurements and X loop, Y looped, and the transformation to separate them in a little transformation class, as a helper class. And indeed, if it is its place isn't more closer to the rendering side of things, then yeah, it kind of confirmed that. It did confirm that. But then we get a bit back and forth to how to, yeah, I can see how I can use that for rendering. But then and it would avoid me having to pass in the row column in the board shape class, because I would retrieve that when rendering. I would retrieve that from the rendering through the board array. I could retrieve the position for the transformation. Now I'm just brute forcing the whole every instance of this class. I'm brute forcing it to take to be transformed. And what I realized was thinking is that that's all fun and games, but so now this class effectively is just good for tiles. And when I would ever want to use a tile in another context than the board array, say for instance, I want to give the ability to create a board yourself with selecting a tile somewhere on the screen and dragging them. Then I don't have code for that. I cannot reuse what I have now for that, because I only render them relative to the board with this code, relative to the board array. And the same goes for units, where I saw this problem that they will be relative to the tiles. But I also, for instance, if you have a list of units and I want something more than just a text there, I want an image or the same shape the shape. I'm always blocked with these shapes. Those are just outlines, so they don't have that much value. But it's like symbolic for all the other things. When I want to reuse them on another place on the screen, on the render canvas, I need to be able to have a transform. And like my transform thing, it has to be able to transform that relative to something else. Like I want units to be relative to a tile. I also want to be able to render them relative to a menu or something. And the same could be said for tiles. I mean, I don't see an urgent need for that, except for a scenario when you want to drag and drop tiles. Yeah, you have them somewhere. Even when you have the board and you could pick a tile and move it around to another place, then you have to be able to draw it relative to the mouse position, for example. And that has nothing to do with the array position, what I'm doing here now. So if I want to have modulability, I should do this differently. Then, yeah, we go back and forth with ChatGPT about it a bit, and which I didn't record. It was like just trying to help my thinking, but it kind of confirmed that, and then it gave some kind of a method, like a view config, where I have these measurements, because yeah, I'm thinking, yeah, these measurements are also very much screen related. They are about where we start drawing, and the other things are measured for now in pixels. So yeah, that's very much screen related. It has nothing to do. I could define all these shapes here, because all these complex codes are just X and Y coordinates that on top of that mostly use those vertices. Like Base Hexagon is literally that. There's lines from vertice to vertice. I could reduce those methods here to not have any factual numbers or screen coordinates or pixel sizes or whatever. Just make them completely abstract from that, and yeah, because in the back and forth, it was like, oh, like a view config class for those things, and then we can put in these vertices, and when I have the transform, and then you can store the value in those vertices. Where's the example? It gave me a nice overview here on the right. My head is a bit in the way. We can see it here. This all. Yeah, we can do all that there, so that then when those are used, when this transformation happens, it automatically updates those vertices. That was what I was looking for to make these simplified vertices work for all my shapes. But then when we go on about, okay, and then I can call that to render it, etc. But yeah, I can retrieve the shape to render in the board, and I can have its position. So can I tell it what to transform it with, the row column things. But then I'm like, yeah, but I need yeah, it was giving me an example where it kind of uses those vertices in the render class. And yeah, I'm explaining all this. It's more for myself, but I mean, or more for myself. It's as much for myself as for somebody else to follow what I've been thinking, because it helps me put things straight. But then it gives me examples, which is logical, where in the shape class, in fact, I'm gonna define those. Yeah, I call on those vertices. I mean, it's kind of, yeah, I kind of have to how do I explain that? I don't want to have to call all those locally stored fields, the lower right, all these vertices. All the points that the shape uses, the simplified points, the simplified vertices, I don't want to have to call them in the render method. So now I'm gonna stuck there again. So I did. It's great that I did. I got all this from it to. Where did it start? Oh yeah, I start with asking what place would be logical to make to put the transform array coordinates to screen coordinates while respecting the model view controller and modability best practice, etc. No, not etc. And if it would be best placed in a helper class, and then yeah, it goes to my array to screen, screen to array, do things in the render class. Then I post my my shape class where I have these transform things, etc. Oh yeah, then I wanted to ask it about those measurements here, and if it would also be logical place in the render class logic, or render class or render logic, seeing as they put out to it. So it's quite funny. It's quite good that when I have it primed to go with certain design principles, it kind of does. Or yeah, I think for like a, it pretty well tries to keep, or tries it pretty well keeps to those principles. So and then I keep going on, following this logic, seeing what you said, etc. So yeah, it gets pretty useful answers. But then in the end, yeah, I started to get a bit confused with how I then use my shapes in the render class, and it kind of became, if I take all this stuff together, it kind of starts to look like my shape class. So I am like, yeah, when I keep my shapes together with all those things, yeah, in one way, shape class is also just a way of telling it what to render on the board. That doesn't do anything else. I have decoupled it enough that now it doesn't have anything to do with the tiles anymore like I had before. So there's already the decoupling that it's actually just screen information. So when I start to put all these measurements and the transformation and then these lower right vertices in another class, I might as well keep this whole class so that I can directly pass these vertices to the shapes here. I'm not sure if I need to then pass. I don't know. I don't think so. No, they don't. The lower don't take any row column info. So I think I could change the whole thing, and then yeah, I can just, like I was using it, I can just call this in there. But I do not need to call the transform from row to column thing. But I was thinking I need, like I said, other transformations as well. So this can be, for instance, this can, oh, that would be a reason to separate it, by the way. This could be the like helper class just for drawing the shapes. And then I need another, I could maybe even do it in here. I need another transformation for units. I need units on the board. This would be, the shapes are like reusable, should be reusable, but I can have a different transformation method for different situations. This is like tiles on the board. I could have one for tiles somewhere else. I could have one for units. I could have one, then for units has to be relative to the tiles. But it follows the same logic. I could do that in one class as well. I could separate them, but then I have to separate this, maybe, if I need it for other things. But so, what I need to start with, I guess, is get that out, because I cannot instantiate. And I was creating this new whole class thing. I think I don't need it. I will. Did I take them out, or did I board shape? Did I take them out, or did I just copy them? No, I left them in there. So yeah, I can maybe make some smart thing, whatever. Do some smart thing with creating the shapes instead of putting it all in one class. But then I have to pass around stuff, instances from thingies. This goes away. Piece shape, that goes away entirely. Which now does mean I need to take all that stuff out. Because this I just only added to brute force the transformation of all those shape objects. And I prefer when I don't have to do this, because when I don't have to do this for shapes, passing the row and the column, I was fighting that before my break, that I want to initialize a unit without grid hexagon as a shape. But luckily I don't have much shapes yet instantiated. Row call, it does keep that, yes, does need that info. This one does need its row column for retrieving it, etc. Yeah, this just doesn't need it for that. And I was thinking I need to pass it to the method, the row and the column stuff. But if I understand it correct, I can just have this method, this transformation method, take the row column, and it will get it when I'm iterating through the board array to find that stuff. And this stuff, like I did it, should actually work when I put it inside this transform method. Oh, but I do need, let's copy it. ChatGPT has written everything out for me. That's great. I do need to declare the variables. Culture vertex, blah blah, whatever. Oh, it was here. Public stat. I'm probably mistaken in many ways again, but and then they can stay private. Well, let's copy. By the way, I didn't think of it, but you can also write short methods like that in one line. That might be a stuck tidier for some hyper small little messages like this. Saves space and thus is more readable, like so. I kind of like the indentation, etc. when you do it like that, but this is kind of, yeah, of course. But it is a stupid little things like that like so, that I don't even know. But yeah, it's just a way of dating thing. But yeah, for anything that is more than one line, this is not nice. But for things that just return one variable, I don't think this is any less readable. Maybe some people, maybe there's something, probably some big debate if this is acceptable way of doing things, like with anything in any domain. Like so, goes to MouseListener. No, it doesn't go to the MouseListener. It's it's actually working now. Yeah, I think it's, I don't have the habit, so it's now kind of less readable for me. But yeah, I thought it's funny that gave me that, oh yeah, I can do it like that. Yeah, it's kind of, because now I have the habit of seeing it differently, but yeah, it does save some space, and so scrolling. When you have less to scroll, you can see more on the screen. So I don't know, might go with that for small thingies. So public float get lower teddy da. Why is it complaining? Only final is permitted. Yeah, don't need this whole thing. That is, oh, that's before it, of course. Like this was what I was trying to do with those simplified things. And that is simple as this. I only have to put them in here and then they get transformed. Let's put these two close to them. Yeah, because they need those. Trying to make public static shape face, da-di-da, hexagon point and grid points in counterclockwise order. What? And grid points in counterclockwise order. I have to, yeah, lower left, lower right, yeah, counterclockwise. Vertexes, no, it's vertices apparently, no? Vertices, yeah, that's the way it's written. And now culture, and I can, yeah, culture vertex. No, yeah, this is just stupid. I can just now call that this new point. That's just a double. That would be lower left. Otherwise, I should put it in the transformation. Is new. No, that's not new. Just is lower left, like so. And center point hexagon. By the way, that is something else. That is X loop short like. Y loop center point hexagon. That's not correct. Oh damn it! I cannot draw the board, of course. Where's my? No, that is in no way is that center point hexagon. That's just weird. Yeah, no, center point hexagon is another thing, but I don't need that. I can just yeah, but now I'm curious. That's my problem. I can just do the thing with the get bounce and get center. But if for some reason I just want to hard code it in, yes, that was it. The side, it's X loop plus the side. Just the X is just the starting point, right? XY is the lower left left vertex is XY. Then from there it's the side. It's like a triangle that's drawn inside a hexagon. That's for the sizes. I found my notes luckily. So that is X plus side, and then the center is yes, I figured that for a regular hexagon where all sides are the same side, I just had to check it, but normally it is. So it is one short side plus a third of the long side of the triangle that is in there, which of course corresponds with, like for example, the lower, that should go 1/3 down. Yeah, here long leg, 1/3 down, 1/3 up from the Y is horizontal, 1/3 up from there. You're in the center, another 1/3, and you're one side of the hexagon up, and one more third, and you are in the top. So upper, yes, the entire long leg. Yeah. So whole lot of stuff for that, but this is, yeah, oh yeah, short leg is right, plus long leg divided by 3. Oh yeah. Oh no, it should be minus. I start at I, when up is minus and down is plus. To the right from, let me see, x, y. To the right from x is plus, and down from x, y is plus, and up and to the left is minus. Anyway, I'm having a lot of fun. At least somebody is having fun. So X, I have no idea why I want to have that, but I'm stubborn like that. Center point hexagon. Might be useful to have that instead of doing the whole find center. Center point culture is kind of stupid as well. I do want those for the, no, when I do the unit shapes in here, I don't need it either. So let's center point hexagon was there. Oh yeah, culture vertex. Culture vertex. That's also let's not call it culture vertex. It was for something that I tried to do before. Center point hexagon. Let's call it center point corridor. And let's call this center point culture. Just to be clear. And yeah, I cannot make anything more fancy of that than just that, because here I define it as the lower left. Right, so I have these here. Move to, oh, by the way, I don't think it does lower left. It doesn't work like that. Then I need to use the method, right? Which is a bit cumbersome because I have to type 3 letters and 2 brackets more. Does that work though? Yeah, that works. No, it says move to isn't happy. The method to double. That doesn't work because this one wants doubles. Lower left point get x, comma. Oh yeah, so it is a bit more cumbersome. I cannot just, or maybe there's a fancy way of doing that, but I cannot just pass that point to there without retrieving x and I to confirm to the notation that this poor method expects. So I should I really should pay attention to the plus and the minus. Oh, I did plus I looped minus long loop formula. Oh yeah, I did make the order of them exactly the same. It starts the lower left and then goes counterclockwise. Don't ask me why counterclockwise. That's just the way it is. Get x, comma, lower get. It's maybe not a huge difference in length of code, etc., but it is a huge difference in readability. Lower right. And I already tried it. I don't even recorded it. I already messed around with it, and I think I recorded some of it. And of course, I didn't get it to work. Right. Get Y. So now I can. It's a stupid job, but now I can. No, sorry. No right. Upper right. Get X. Upper. I'm typing upper right. Get Y. Like that. So once again, I'm breaking everything, and I hope I will be able to put it together again. So public area hexagon face. At some point I had stuff that I wanted to do with that, but now it goes away. What is this? Static point to the culture vertex. Oh, that was with that culture vertex thing. Center point hexagon is the same. Go away. Hexagon center point. Yes, that is the same thing. Why does it take row and column? No idea. Something I tried recently probably. Okay, corridor zone south. Shape west. Oh yeah, my cutesy corridor zones. Loop beside Y looped. Loop beside Y looped is the lower right. Lower right point. Get X, comma, lower right. Well, I'm gonna work through all this stuff. Oh yeah, fun that I let the center point hexagon in, because of course I need that for my corridor zones that have the point. I was looking, where this one minus long leg, no, that's not right. I loop minus long leg separate by 3, so a third of it. So that goes to center point hexagon point get comma center point hexagon. It's a bit long, I admit. Get Y. Yeah, I didn't think of that. It's very hard to always think. It's very easy to forget about stuff. Okay, I'm going to run through it further. So running through all of them, and for some reason, probably just to confuse myself, to define these corridor shapes, I went clockwise. Need to keep myself busy, huh? Oh, so here I have some circles. Yeah, I cannot do the same thing to those. I cannot do that to them. But that isn't a big biggie. I don't think I can very much simplify that. Not with this. Because yeah, that one wants an X and a Y like that. I don't know if there's another way to... Probably some smart way of doing that. Oh yeah, I could maybe just here replace the x and the y for, like, say this is x loop y loop. I could maybe replace this with the same thing, like lower left get x, comma lower left point get y. Oh, I wrote it wrong, that's why it's not obeying. And maybe do a space in there for readability. And then when I say you don't exist anymore, does it eat that? It doesn't. Doesn't like that. Oh, it wants a float. So I can return a float like so. Why is that a float? Why does he say x, y? Oh, okay, that's double. It expects float because because I ask for a. Is there an ellipse double? Does that exist? That works. Yeah, let's do that. Just for readability's sake. And radius is radius. There's nothing I can do about that. No, okay, that's just an x loop plus side y loop. Y looped. X loop plus side y looped is the lower right. Yeah, definitely helps readability. So I will make just return doubles instead of float. That's accurate enough anyway. Way accurate enough. What did I say? Lower right, right? Where are they? Lower right, yeah. Lower right point get x, comma lower right point get y. Like so. I don't know how to place commas on all of a sudden. I did it weird here as well. What is right? Sometimes the brain just doesn't want to. Like that, you go away. So yeah, then I know at least on one glance what the center of this circle was, what I was trying to do with it, etc. X loop plus short loop and y plus short leg and minus short leg. Plus short leg minus short leg. What is that then? See, that's interesting. I don't know what it is. Plus short leg and minus short leg. That's the top circle. Oh, I'm blind. It's plus short leg minus long leg. Plus short leg minus long leg. It's just upper. Yeah, it's just on the upper vertex, of course. So let's make this a double as well. Double. Happy that works, that flexibly. That's just the precision. Double, float, etc. Floating point is float. Double is those that double. That's. Don't think I need more precision than that. I will see if stuff gets ugly. But what was I telling? Upper point get x, comma upper point get y, like so. It's beautiful. I like it. Take them out for now. for when I regret this. So here we have the corridor shape. Yeah, takes that stuff, subtracts that stuff. That's just perfect. It's simple. Then we have the culture shape, which is just the same as this first circle here. I also need to use those circles to. I can do that right away while I'm here. Corridor zones. Corridor zone. How do I call this? Corridor zone. It's like the unfinished version. It's not. I need to subtract those. I need to subtract those circles from them as well because they're ugly now. Let's do that right away instead of. What is a good name for unfinished thing? Crude or something. Let's call it base. Whatever. Water type. Then for each. By the way, they can be totally private, but nobody cares. Shape, like the circle with abstraction. That's a shape, yeah. Shape. So this will be called corridor. So now this will become what was originally that. Let me see how that was done. Area, corridor. South doesn't need to be. Oh, it doesn't even need to. Yeah, don't needs to be distinguished. That's just the internal variable. Is new area. Okay, takes the is new area. Then I need the shape that is the basic shape, which is the base corridor south. That whole shebang probably needs that. Yeah, base hexagon base corridor south. Why is it? Because I missed the word zone. Right. And then that I subtract. Yes, corridor. This is all kinds of funny thing we can do with areas, whole lists. Funny. Subtract new area, and then what I want to subtract. New area. Then I need my paper to visualize this stuff. This is the south corridor part. So what I want to subtract is where are the circles? Bottom left, bottom right, and top. I want to do the bottom left and bottom right, circle 1 and circle 2. I want to subtract from it. Base circle 1, like so. And then I want to subtract. Subtract. No, not corridor. No, I don't want that. Go away. New area, base circle 2. Like so. Subtract. Something wrong with the brackets here. It's like a bracket party. Subtract. It's not subtract, it's subtract. I always heard it my whole life, subtract. Or maybe that is something else. Based circle, like that. It's still complaining about, oh yeah, I do need 3 at the end. And then this one is complaining that it doesn't return something, of course. Return area, a new area, I guess. New area, should know by now, corridor. Corridor, like so. And then I need to repeat that for all 3 of them. Up. So I changed the little names. Now little south, and this is the west is left. Then I need to do subtract. Base circle 1 was bottom left. So I need to subtract 1 and 3. Circle 1 and 3. I was looking up to this to not do it, and it turned out to be really easy in the end. And like so, 3 and 2. So now they should return the right things. Yeah, and here I have some other stuff where it doesn't apply to simplify those things, I think. Because yeah, this is the texture square, which is then like that's the anchor pointer for the textures. This one, actually, no, I cannot do any simplification on that, or I have to create specially for those. That's something that now I have this nice method. I can always do that, but that would only be useful if I need them a lot. These are quite easy to understand. Yeah, every time I'm looking at this again, I need to remember what long leg, etc. stand for, but was meant for. So text point corridor, that was something about the text. Same with this one. Just experiments, no idea what it was for. Not using it anyway. Anywho. So and then I'm back to the pieces. And now that I have done that, I wasn't happy with my piece shape class, but also because I was bothered with passing around those things, and I don't want to instantiate a class. And now I'm back to the same. Yeah, pause. I know what I need to do. Instead of worrying about the pieces, I need to first see how I now call this stuff in where I render, to see how I, for instance, if I can now call this transform method once within I think it can, within the render stuff. I retrieve the shape, da-di-da. So basically nothing should change here. But did I have, no, I didn't have the transform in here anymore. So now I do instantiate, let me see, I do instantiate not a new board. No, I never instantiate any instance of board shape. So like I was starting to worry about instances here. Don't have here. I just instantiate a shape. So nothing about a board shape. So I just return a shape. If for every iteration, I call this transform, does it then transform automatically every shape that I call within this iteration? That is my question now. I do have an instance of board. I don't have an instance of GameShape. So how do I call it? My friend had some answers for that. If it is a static thing, can I also call static methods like that? It explains me again. We're fighting with the statics again, as usual, and it explained that it will always stay the same for all instances of that class. That's static. I mean that variable, when it's shared between different instances of that class, when you change it somewhere, it will change for all of them. So it stays it's like a variable that when the state changes, it changes all the instances of that class. Public, is that when I do static on this one? No idea if that is possible. No, that doesn't work like that. So how can I now, yeah, no, of course it's logical now that this will have access to the shapes, which I had a lot of the time, an instance. But then again, then I'm gonna work with instances again, which I don't want. Okay, think about it. Then again, I'm worrying about the right instance, but the other, when I create new shapes, I don't create instances of GameShape. I create instances of shapes, which could just be as easily be transformed. But then they keep that shape and transformed on it. But does the transformation apply to that shape then? I guess because it's defined by stuff that will change. Let me just test it out. Okay, oh wait, I can just no, but what I cannot do a getter for. How can I get that elegantly in there? It's of course kind of normal that it would have access to the shapes, seeing it is board doesn't have access. Board doesn't have instance of shape at all. It would be very logical that it has an instance of GameShape because it's not called GameShape anymore. That's maybe board shape. But then the same would go for P shape, etc., etc. Where am I going to instantiate that stuff? Coming to the same problem as the alphabet, it's just the shape. Same thing as with, do I do it like that, or do I create some kind of, oh yeah, here I did it. This is not the instance for the shapes contained on the board. Big exclamation marks. Board, no, yeah, board shape. This board shape. They all have the old name still. That's not very good. Oh wait, of course I'm being ridiculous. I can of course instantiate it in here. That's way more smart. Not sure if then that makes any difference with the shapes. Otherwise, I could even instantiate new shapes here while looking for them in the the tile just has a reference to that shape, and that I just throw the new shape in here while rendering. But that's a bit probably a bit expensive because it's rendering all the time. So that's a bit against what. Yeah, don't know if this changes anything with the problem of new board shape. So then this doesn't need to be instantiated with that, but when it is created, it creates a new board shape, which would be logical order. This board shape is new board shape, nothing. That doesn't need access to DrawCanvas as far as I understand, and then this doesn't change. And then main is okay, main doesn't complain that it is broken. Let me see what breaks next. Board shape something, 38. Oh, this stuff is still in here. Edge for triangle grid can go away as well, especially when it breaks the game. Won't probably be the only thing. 142. What? Oh, 142. Return new ellipse double. Why aren't you happy? Base circle 1 goes to 174. It throws an exception on the base circle. What did I do wrong? That's where I try to use this. That doesn't work, I guess. Float. Oh, those are floats. Maybe it doesn't like the combination. Right? Let's see if it throws the no point somewhere else. No, doesn't like it. Return new ellipse tile 29. So yeah, now I run into the problem that effectively I cannot create an instance of those shapes in tile because I need to they need the simplified vertex notation for their definition of their shape, and yeah, they only get they only get a value. Now they don't have a value. I ran into a null point error because yeah, those don't have a value, and they only get a value when I call this transformer method. And yeah, then I can. ChatGPT also said me, I can just paste the WH like I had to the board shape and then do transform on that, but that's what I don't want. So conclusion, I just have to make in Taiwan where I call the shapes in this kind of thing, I just have to make a reference to it. And then like I did before in the rendering class, or I didn't do that before. I get the right shape. Before I was telling in the rendering class what shape to draw straight from here, depending on what it found in the board array. I told it what to draw manually, what shapes, and I don't remember what problem that gave. But what I'm doing now is not manually drawing those shapes, but finding the reference on the tile object to that shape, and I'm gonna draw it here with a transform, etc. And I asked ChatGPT that I prefer just storing a reference and then finding the actual and shape and transforming it here, if that wouldn't be too expensive. And basic what it says normally, apparently, it all depends, of course, but when I create the shapes for every tile instance and then store them, that would normally ask more memory or whatever than just creating them in the DrawCanvas, because I'm like, yeah, but this draw stuff that is redoing this all the time, because every time it redraws the board, it redraws the whole thing. But normally it only needs to call this when it does need to redraw, or when something changes in here. I think I don't know how, of course, how it works internally, but maybe it keeps if it doesn't change what it does in draw tiles here. If the content of that doesn't change, maybe it doesn't redraw. It does redraw with all those mouse events with the things happening, then it redraws. But does it redraw the whole? Yeah, because it redraws if it's highlighted, etc. So, but that's in the mouse event, so that's now set to the mouse event. But then it calls this as well. But yeah, doesn't need to be much more expensive. I don't remember. I have to rewatch my footage, I guess, to find or look in my notes that what was the problem when I didn't have the objects in the array, the actual objects. Oh, that probably was when doing the whole mouse thingy-madingy. Get tile shape, yeah, but I can retrieve the shape even if it's just a reference to the shape, because I'm here in this is related to the canvas, so that would be trivial. Like I can retrieve the W and H, etc. through the shape. I can access everything. It might not even change a single thing here. Now it's a function on culture tile get tile shape. I maybe need to add one step, because return tile shape won't return a shape. It will return shape tile shape. I'm not sure, but I have to break this. It isn't right. Think about that again. Probably need to do something like board shape, tile shape or something. Board shape, culture shape. That doesn't work. That's from board shape to shape. No, probably not even. Getting pretty complex again, my stuff. If then it's culture shape and corridor shape, texture square, private. Probably just doing. Oh, by the way, it told me that I could not use double equal symbols or could, but for when I want to say this equals something, when it equals a string. So anyway, just probably would want to do something really stupid like that. Just, I guess, just assigning a value like so. Tile type, culture, so that it's stored in there. don't even know if it needs to be a shape. It can just be a string even, but it needs to return a shape. Same goes for this. This can go away. No. How can I assign something to that? But I don't want to instantiate something. Let's do something with it. Do I even need it, the shape again? I can just do this like I did before. I was, in the meantime, I'm thinking about this much, but I was like, yeah, these need the coordinates, the array coordinates, but I realized that what needs the array coordinates is the unit list. And then again, this whole shape is just for doing stuff on the screen, except I want to do some functionality with that. I need to calculate neighbors for it. Or I need to reinstate them as actual objects. Because I'm confusing, all the time I'm confusing shapes and objects. Like just an object, like a shape needs to, like an object needs to have shapes. It's especially with this whole heavy thing. The only thing I do here is add some shapes. That's useless. But I might need to create corridor zones, create a class corridor zone, and create these three little thingies like I create here, and then pass them on. Just to, yeah, like I need to calculate neighbors on it, etc. Yeah, I think it needs to have objects so that I can attach, and so that I can find them. Yeah, I don't want to again go to draw and just tell them to draw it there. I already tried that, and that gave me some problems. So we're going back to this, and then I do. I'm going everywhere again, but does it need integer W? Probably can do with it. Yes. Never know. I just need to differentiate between the two, but with what kind of data type? I don't see anything more useful than a string right now. Oh, string, southeast, west, north. Just like so. Corridor zone. Like so. I should have done it in this as well, like private tile type instead of string tile type name. Something like that. I should have done it in here as well, I guess. Then I need tile. Oh, no, copy that one. South. West. East. Always a capital. Like so. This corridor zone. This zone. This zone. Back. And then it gets something. That's about it. It's very small. Nothing class. I can even add highlighted or oh yeah. Gets an highlighted as well. I want to be able to highlight it separately, stuff like that. That's funny. Like that would be cool. Row column. Not sure if I need that, but why the hell not? Put it up there. And then of course shape. Private. Oh, I forgot to copy. Why aren't you happy? What are you on about? Shape. Zone. Shape. Blob. Shit like that. Yeah, okay. Can you put shape? Shit like that. Oh yeah, and then I need all the rest. South. Shape. West. Shape. And east. Shape. Like so. Texture square. No, it doesn't have texture. It's just virtual. I can put this in here. I had no idea if I need it. Probably easy when I initiate the tile unit list. Tile type doesn't need it. I do need the else if for the shape. So if now I can use zone cross out, I guess. Yeah, simple as that, right? I want to do this in tile too. I'm gonna break things, but I'm adding tile type. It's weird to have it in string. I thought it was weird, but I couldn't get the thing straight in my head. Tile type name. It's a bit verbose, but tile type name. Like so. This tile type is tile type. This tile type name. This tile type name. Oh, can be done way more smarter, of course, but am I complaining? Okay, now tile type doesn't work. I do need to add the two tile types, of course, then. Private. Oh, I can do that. Get a bit more compact. Yeah, I like it more. I did it in the last designs as well, but I like it more if it is more obvious for me what I'm doing. Let's just call them culture and corridor for change. And string doesn't get used, of course, so I don't need a capital here. Just need that. Like so. I think I'm okay now. Oh, didn't do that one. Gonna get a lot of text, by the way. Tile type name is before tile type. Great. Tile. Like so. Public string get tile type name. Ridiculous. I know. Return tile 9, 4. I kind of like the lines. They're cutie. So, now of course my board is broken because now I need to, because it's pretty condensed what I did. No, it's not too hard. Like so, culture, corridor. I don't instantiate that much stuff anymore, so up. It's fixed. Oh, God damn it. I love it. Yeah. Yeah, baby. If zones out is, and then shape. Oh, I have. All right, yeah, like here I'm confusing myself already. Let's private shape up. Let's do it like this, that I see what I'm trying to do. Zone shape is south shape. Maybe it needs an H in here. And then else, I'm not sure the difference between if and else if. Look into that. Else if zone equals west, no problem, zone shape is west shape, so complicated. Else if up, zone equals east, zone shape equals east shape. I said, not sure if my naming conventions. I'm getting a bit lazy, don't I? And then public corridor zone. No, public shape is that. Oh yeah, that's something interesting. I'm doing all kinds of things that aren't a shape at all, but in the end of when I want to return this in as a reference, I don't know. I probably want to say something stupid. Get zone shape. Implement some getters. Oh, I called it zone shape. Right. The first getter is maybe the corridor or zone. Get zone. Still having trouble typing that word. Return zone. Like so. Return row column. No, I don't care for now. Oh yeah, well, I can just copy them from the next class over. Like so. So this is now my, oh, and it's highlighted, then I need as well, those two. And while we're at it, I saw something from the corner of my eye. Is draw outline as well then. Because, yeah, I made that remark when I was in a render class at one point that, oh yeah, but I don't have the zones anymore, so the objects anymore of the zone, so I don't have to draw outline there. So this would be a bit more in line with the other objects for the board. So now I take out this if statement here. Oh, no, that was a bit harsh. That was a little bit harsh. If tel type again. Oh, no, I don't need to make a separate one for that. I can just throw it in the other one. So it doesn't have shapes, but oh, I'm a big clown. In fact, I'm making else if in here. You know my enthusiasm, but oh yeah, I can still do that. I have no idea why I did it like that. Maybe because now my brain wants to do things a certain way. Corridor zone. Bugging out for a bit there. Up. And then this whole shebang goes in there because I need to create new instances of them, in fact. That's the whole idea. Like so, and then they need, oh yeah, I gave them double H, whatever, and it's just a zone. That was pretty much overkill, over-engineered. Maybe it's useful for something someday. Or maybe I should consolidate them in one line, these things also. Well, I'm playing around a bit. Yeah, it actually is this easy. Well, easy, this is way over-engineered, but it's at least clear. I don't even need all that stuff, just sound this, return. I don't even remember why I did. Oh yeah, that was for that. Okay, this says shapes. This returns shapes. I think I need that. Go away. Did I implement them in here now? Oh yeah, I only need one method for that here. Don't need to get the shapes from here. I could do a thing to get, wait. I can replace that with corridor zone, so that potentially I have access to those zones from the tile. That might ever come in handy. Don't know yet. South, west, east. Like so. So now that I broke everything, let's see if I can get it back to render. Now getting this board shape instance here, that now should work if I didn't use it to put them here, retrieve them, and transform them right away. So let's see how that goes. Oh, then I probably need a local variable or something. Let me just see what this returns. Get down, return down shape, but that's just an empty variable. Tile 31. Me who thought I was being smart, so I'm now a bit struggling to how do I get this out of there in the DrawCanvas, and ChatGPT warns me that it's not logical to have tile type, and that the tile type itself is a tile, and that you're comparing it to the tile instance sculpture, blah blah, which never initialize or blah blah blah. You may rethink this design. It might be simpler to use an enum or string to present the tile type. Oh, I was thinking I was smart, rather than a tile object. Yeah, no, that was a brain fart. Enum. Yeah, I wanted to do all kinds of things with enums at one point, but it seems overly complicated, so I'm going back, changing back to the string. Oh my god. Oh, of course, I'm being a big retard. I'm asking this to ChatGPT, and it's telling me things that I don't like, and I can just do shape, tile shape. Oh my god, I think I need to take a break. Here, just like this. Why am I being so complicated? Tile type, if this equals culture, get back the string in there. Don't forget the capital, otherwise it will never equal it. I was there, I could just have taken out the, this goes away, I could just have taken out the instantiating. Yeah, it says some nice things about make sure to instantiate them, because otherwise it will break on you. Oh no, by the way, tile type. Oh, yeah, that's what I need. Tile type, and then here I do this. Oh, it uses my shit tile thingy there. This culture shape. No, it's giving me weird stuff now. If tile shape equals, don't need a shape here. What is this? This is just weird. No. I need a break, but I don't want to. I want it to work. Culture. I just need to do now. What is okay now, right? Oh no, I need to take out the bull corridor bullshit here. In the DrawCanvas, I just need to do some kind of a check now that says if get culture tile not is null, the culture tile is dead. So I check some stuff on the culture tile. Then culture tile is draw outline, and if culture tile is draw outline and culture tile point get tile type, get tile shape. What does it still do? Get tile shape. I already lost the tile shape. No, this is just bool. Tile shape is culture shape. Not this. Tile shape. If tile type. I said I want a reference to what shape it holds, but now I'm doubting again. If culture tile point get, because I already know it's a I should now be able to just skip this whole if it is a culture quarter tile. If culture tile is draw outline, then I get the same thing that I was where I was before. And I would just do mod shape culture shape like this, like I did before. And then I have 0 reference. Why did I want to have them in there? What shape? Java 67. It's not Base Hexagon. I really wonder why I wanted, maybe I can find it in my note, why I wanted to have the actual shape objects on the board. Did that have something to do with the transformation, with the row column stuff? I'm not sure. I'm returning to what I tried then. I mean, all this stuff is really great for learning, but I'm returning to what I tried then, and I said, no, that's not it. I was just drawing the shapes here directly from the shapes, because I can see here what I want to draw. That's not a secret, but then for some reason, I abandoned that again. Why was that? Don't remember, so I'm fiddling around with it. Because I was fighting with a null point exception, but there was still here, Crit Hexagon was still instantiating a new shape. My god, which I don't even use. Now I was trying all kinds of things out, but it seems to actually do something, except Oh, it does do the cursor thing. It doesn't get the tiles, but it does transform them. Oh, I like this image. It's cute, but that is because I forgot here to I do the get image get. That would be okay, I guess. Not sure. Board shape, not get texture. That's not a texture square. No. Texture square corridor culture. Like so. Let me see. Get terrain, get image. That stays the same. What shape? Culture shape, that shape. Okay, that's interesting. Oh, I also put the corridor zones in the wrong part, which doesn't matter. It's interesting that I've seen this before, but that was that's something interesting because normally when the textures aren't there, it just draws the outlines. So this is pretty funny. I think I see a little error already in my if statement. Get terrain, get image is alright, but then I have if culture tile, get texture tile is no board shape. Don't even think I need this. Point texture square culture equals no. But then I broke something else. Corridor board shape texture square corridor. That won't work. And then the same goes for this. Go away. Let's copy it. The mouse wants to do all kinds of fancy stuff all the time, which I don't want. Get terrain, get image. That's all functional. Fill, get tile shape. That doesn't work. I'm wondering if I'm doing all over. Really not sure. Trying exactly the same what I already tried. I said it already, but doing it all wrong again. Then a bit later, I'm like, oh, it's so. Oh, yeah, I like this. This is fancy. Does it do any mouse stuff? Not at all. And that was also probably where I couldn't. I wanted the objects there. I think I already said it for the return mouse. Get tile shape. Yeah. But then again, I already said that then. I probably don't need the actual object there. Oh, that was what I was saying then. When I don't have the actual object there, they don't have a W and H. That was the whole story. But then again, that's not true because, like also ChatGPT said, in the way that I can transform from row to column to XI, I can also transform the inverse, and I do have access to all kinds of other things through the mouse. That was why I got it to work, and I was so happy. And I was like, oh my god, I really do need those objects there. But the objects are there, there's not the shapes are not there. But they are connected in here, and I don't want to give them those W and H's. If I want to have them, that must be processed, like I said, otherwise I cannot use them for anything else, and the units will be shit too. So I did change everything to having the actual objects, actual shape objects, to contain them in the board to make my mouse listener work. And then something else broke, and now I made it back to that they are not actually in there, and I maintained some kind of reference to the shape, which is totally useless. Yeah, I'm trying to do things too smart with that again, and like I need to show somebody that there's what shape it is. Well, I can easily find it because naming conventions that I try to keep a bit understandable, but that would mean that now is my whole thingy is broken. But like, yeah, like I didn't know that was a possibility. But ChatGPT told me even if I don't get it to work with the shapes here, I do think it's that simple. Then I can do an inverse transformation from screen coordinates back to array coordinates. even if I, because at some point said, yeah, but it doesn't remember, but you do have X and Y coordinates so that you can do the inverse transformation. I wasn't conscious of that, but I don't even think I need it. I think the contains story still works.